Hey guys, I'm Mark from Partial Sport and welcome to Game Week 27 of the Premier League Review. If you are new to this series, what we do is we take a look at the past set of Premier League results, we then take a look at the Premier League table, and we finish off by looking at the Premier League top goal scorers. So here is the past set of Premier League results. These games were played on Saturday the 4th, Sunday the 5th, and Monday the 6th of March 2017. Also next to the games are their times in this video, so if you want to hear about a specific game, just go to the time next to the match and you'll skip out all the other crap. But without further ado, let's get into our first match. We start with Watford versus Southampton. It wouldn't take long for one of these teams to take the lead, as only 4 minutes into the match, Watford would take the lead through their captain Troy Deeney. It came when Younes Kaboul threw the ball in from a throw-in, and it landed on the head of Deeney, who headed it on to Stefano Okaka, who then played it back to Deeney, who volleyed the ball home from close range into the back of the net. But Southampton would equalise 20 minutes later when the ball is in the Watford box and the Watford defenders can't get it clear, and it fell to an unmarked Dusan Tadic, who hit the ball low into the net from the edge of the box. And Southampton would take the lead for the first time in this match right on the brink of half-time through Nathan Redmond. It came as the goal scorer started off the attack as he played the ball to James Ward-Prowse, who then played it to Dusan Tadic on the right wing. Tadic then cut it back to Redmond, who finished the shot into the far post. But Watford would level up the scoring in the 80th minute when Stefano Okaka got the equaliser. It came when Isaac Success had the ball in the box and he laid it back across goal to Stefano Okaka, and the Italian was able to finish with ease. But only minutes later, Southampton retook the lead when Sofiane Boufal took a shot which Aurelio Gomez should really do better with, but he's only able to palm the shot into the path of Manolo Gabbiadini, and he finishes to continue his great scoring record for his new club. And Southampton would extend their lead only 2 minutes later when Nathan Redmond got his second of the match. It came when Nathan Redmond had far too much time and space, and he's able to dribble his way into the box and then smash the shot past Gomez. But Watford would make the last few minutes a little bit interesting when they made it 4-3 in the 94th minute through Abdolo Doucouré? I have no idea. It came when Mbaye Niang does some good work on the wing, and he then crosses the ball in and it falls to Doucouré, who was able to tap in from close range. And that is how the game would end. What a great match. You can't beat a 7-goal thriller. It really could have gone either way. I really don't know which way I would have given this match. Either team could have won, but Southampton did well to reply after they suffered the League Cup final loss last week to United. But with this result, Southampton actually leapfrogged Watford in the league as they jumped up to 10th, but they could drop to 11th with West Ham still to play on Monday, and Watford dropped down to 13th. And we move on to Tottenham versus Everton. Tottenham would open the scoring in this one 20 minutes into the first half when Harry Kane had the ball about 30 yards out, and for some reason all Everton players just don't close him down, and he had the time and space to set himself up before unleashing a rocket of a shot that went flying into the back of the net. And Tottenham would double their lead in the 55th minute when Harry Kane got his and Tottenham's second. It came when Everton goalie Joel Robles rolled the ball out to Morgan Schneiderlin, who got caught in possession by Moussa Dembele, and the ball fell loose to Dele Alli, and he clipped the ball into the path of Harry Kane, and with just the goalie to beat, there was never any doubt as Harry Kane placed it into the bottom corner. But Everton wouldn't go down quietly, as in the 80th minute they got to go back with Romelu Lukaku. It came when Jan Vertonghen does his best Steven Gerrard impression and slips, and in came Lukaku, and the big Belgian striker is gifted a goal as he put the ball into the bottom corner past Hugo Lloris. But Tottenham would extend their lead back to 2 in the 92nd minute when Everton are caught napping as Harry Winks clipped a free kick into the Everton area, and Dele Alli latches onto the ball and he made his way through the Everton defence and flicked the ball into the back of the net. But Everton would try and get back into it again as they got another goal back in the 93rd minute when Everton take a free kick quickly and it falls to Enner Valencia, who fired the ball home. And that's how the game would end. Everton really didn't struggle the Tottenham defence all game, apart from the final 10 minutes when they finally seemed to get going. But Tottenham mainly dominated the game, and this result kept Tottenham in second, and they actually closed the gap on Chelsea to 7 points, with the league leaders still to play on Monday, and it also kept Everton in 7th. And we move on to Swansea versus Burnley. Swansea had the upper hand for the first 10 minutes of the game, and they got what they deserved in the form of a goal in the 12th minute through Fernando Llorente. It came just moments after Swansea defender Alfie Mawson hit the crossbar twice in quick succession, and it ends up with Leroy Fer, who curled the ball into the box onto the head of the in-running Llorente, who headed home for his 10th goal of the season. But Burnley would get the perfect chance to level the scoring in the 20th 70th minute when they were given a penalty that was surrounded in controversy. It came when the referee spotted a handball in the Swansea box and the referee pointed to the spot, and it was given as a penalty to Burnley. But what the referee didn't spot was whose hand it actually was, as replay showed that it was actually the hand of Burnley player Sam Vokes, and it should have been a free kick to Swansea. This is why we need technology in football. Instead of this stupid decision, he could have just went off to the sideline and used the replays. Bloody stupid. But nonetheless, Burnley striker Andre Gray stepped up to take the penalty that shouldn't have been, and he put the penalty down the middle. And Burnley would take the lead in this one in the 61st minute when Andre Gray got his second. It came when Sam Vokes laid the ball off to Gray and he drilled his shot low into the back of the net to give Burnley the lead, and they looked like they were on point to pick up their first away win this season. But Swansea didn't want to give any points to Burnley, as only 5 minutes later they equalised the scoring through Martin Olsen. It came when Swansea star player Gylfi Sigurdsson played a lovely back heel, and Martin Olsen took the ball into the box and smashed the ball into the net from a very tight angle. And the game looked like it was going to end with a draw, but in the 91st minute Swansea snatched all 3 points when Fernando Llorente got his second of the game. It came when Tom Carroll crossed a great ball into the box, which the Spaniard leaped above his man and headed in for the late winner. And that's how the game would end. A great win for Swansea, who showed great play to stay in the game despite the wrong penalty decision, and then going behind. Most teams' heads would have dropped, but they kept in it and they stole the points. And with this result, Swansea continued their decent form as of late, and it adds another 3 points between them and the relegation zone. And Burnley, who are still to win away from home this season, are in 12th. And we move on to Liverpool versus Arsenal. Arsenal were on the receiving end a lot in the first half, and when they came forward, they lacked any sort of skill, desire, passion, because for some reason Arsene Wenger decided not to play Alexis Sanchez and started him on the bench. And Liverpool would take advantage of Arsenal not playing their star man, as they took the lead in this match only 9 minutes into the first half through Roberto Firmino. It came from a Liverpool goal kick as Laurent Koscielny loses out on the header as it falls to Sadio Mane, who uses his pace to come onto the right hand side of the box. He drilled the ball low into the box, which Felipe Coutinho either leaves or completely misses, but either way it went behind him and into the path of Firmino, who took a touch before burying it into the back of the net to give the Cop the lead. And Liverpool would double their lead in the 40th minute when the roles are reversed, as it's Roberto Firmino who assisted Sadio Mane. It started with James Milner doing some great work down the left wing. He then passed it inside to Firmino, who then laid it off to Mane, who took one touch to stop the ball dead before smashing the ball low into the net. However, the second half was the complete opposite of the first, as Alexis Sanchez was brought on at half time and he completely changed the game. Arsenal seemed more focused and seemed that they actually wanted to go forward and attack, and Alexis Sanchez would make his mark in the 56th minute when he put a lovely ball through to Danny Welbeck, who ran inside of the Liverpool box before dinking the ball over the outrushing Simon Mignolet, and the ball bounces over the line. But Liverpool would put the game to bed in the 90th minute when Jorginho Wijnaldum got the goal. It came following an Arsenal attack, and Liverpool's Joel Matip does well to block a shot that fell to Adam Lallana, who took the ball down perfectly. He held the ball up before releasing Divock Origi, who timed his run to perfection. He took the ball forward down the left and spotted Gini Wijnaldum. He then picked him out with the ball across the ground, and the Dutch international hits it low and hard into the bottom corner. And that's how the game would end. A great game for Liverpool, who continue their unbeaten record against teams in the top 6. Too bad we can't do it against teams in the bottom 6. But it's worrying times for Arsenal, and more specifically Arsene Wenger. Why did you leave Sanchez on the bench? You have to play your best players, especially when you're playing against a top 6 team. A lot more pressure is being put on Wenger, and I can't see him staying another season. And that's the same with Alexis Sanchez. But let's be honest, pretty much all Arsenal fans have accepted that he's probably leaving in the summer. But with this result, Arsenal dropped out of the top 4 and Liverpool jumped over them into 3rd, with Manchester City able to overtake them on Sunday. And we move on to Leicester versus Hull. Leicester were on the upper hand for the opening of this match, but it was Hull that took the lead against the run of play in the 14th minute. It came when Leicester player Ndidi gave the ball away, and Hull are able to counter with the pace of Umar Niasse. He then played in Kamil Grosicki on the overlap, who then cut the ball back, and on the end of it was Sam Klukas, who was able to tap home from close range for his first Premier League goal for Hull. But the lead wouldn't last long, as only 7 minutes later Leicester would equalise when Christian Fuchs got only his second goal for Leicester. It came when Leicester attacked on the left side with Jamie Vardy. Vardy got clear of his markers and put a low cross into the box. It fell to Fuchs, and the Austrian international made no mistake as he drilled the ball into the net. And Leicester would take the lead in the 57th minute when last year's Premier League Player of the Year Riyad Riyad Mahrez got his first goal since November. It came when he's on the edge of the whole area trying to work his way into some space, and he does just that as the whole defence gives him the slightest hint of goal, and he fired a low shot from the edge of the box that goes into the back of the net despite the hand from Hull keeper Eldin Jakupovic. And Leicester would have the game won in the 91st minute when they got their third through a Tom Huddlestone own goal. It came when a Leicester corner from the left is flicked on by Ndidi, and the ball indirectly bounces off of the head of Huddlestone, and unfortunately for him, into his own net. And that's how the game would end, a well-deserved win for Leicester, and this Leicester team are finally back to how they were playing last season. I still want them to get relegated though. But with this result, Hull are in 19th and Leicester in 15th. And we move on to West Ham versus Chelsea. Chelsea took the lead in this match 25 minutes into the first half when they performed a perfect counter-attack that all started with the midfield engine N'Golo Kante, who then played it off to Eden Hazard just before the halfway line. He then takes it forward before playing a 1-2 with Pedro, and Pedro's pass back sends Hazard clear, and his first touch takes the keeper out of the question, and the Belgian basically had an empty net to slot the ball into. And Chelsea would double their lead in the 50th minute when Eden Hazard whipped the corner in from the left, and it's flicked on by West Ham player Pedro Obiang, and it fell perfectly to Diego Costa, and Chelsea's top scorer this season made no mistake as he nudged the ball in from point blank range. West Ham would get a late goal, however, when in the 92nd minute Manuel Lanzini got on the score sheet. It came when a pass towards Cesc Fabregas isn't a very good one and the Spaniard can't control it, and Andre Ayew pounced onto the loose ball and sprints away. He then squares it to Manuel Lanzini, who hit it low into the net. And that's how the game would end. Chelsea are basically the champions at this point. I can't see anyone catching them. Also, West Ham didn't play bad, they just didn't play good. They played okay. Against another team they could have won, but against Chelsea, who are just in a completely different class, they had no chance. And with this result, Chelsea re-extended their lead at the top of the league to 10 points, and West Ham are down in 11th. And we move on to Sunderland versus Manchester City. Manchester City would take the lead in this one 5 minutes before half-time when Yaya Toure had to really stretch to save the ball from falling to Sunderland, and he then turned that near scare into a goal-scoring opportunity as he burst forward before giving it out wide to Raheem Sterling. Sterling then put a low cross into the box that was deflected, and in came Sergio Aguero to nudge the ball past Jordan Pickford. And Manchester City would double their lead in the 60th minute when Leroy Sané got on the score sheet. It came when Raheem Sterling broke and then found David Silva, who played in Leroy Sané, and he used his pace and gets past his man and left all of the Sunderland players in the dust, and the young German is able to smash the ball in via a dink off the post. And that's how the game would end, and a deserved win for City in the end, as it could have been a lot more. Sunderland played well in the first half, but Manchester City, they're just a different class apart from them. And in the Sunderland team, you can already see most of the players have given up hope, and they're already relegated in their eyes. And in my eyes as well. I can't see a way that they stay up. I think they're in too deep now. But with this result, it left Sunderland at the bottom of the table and it hopped City back up to 3rd. And we move on to Stoke versus Middlesbrough. Stoke would take the lead in this match 30 minutes into the first half when Marko Arnautovic opened the scoring for his team. It came when Stoke crossed the ball into the box and Marko Arnautovic took it down before going round Victor Valdez and tucking the ball into the net. And Stoke would double their lead in the 42nd minute when Marko Arnautovic got his and Stoke second. It came when Peter Crouch touched the ball down and in came Arnautovic to fire the ball home past Victor Valdez. And that's how the game would end, and a basic win for Stoke, and Middlesbrough are looking more and more likely to be headed back down to the Championship. They're struggling for goals, and if you don't score, you don't win. Get that on a t-shirt. But with this result, Stoke are up in 9th, while this result actually dropped Middlesbrough into the relegation zone for the first time this season. And we move on to West Brom versus Crystal Palace. The game was pretty dead for the entire first half, and the game would finally get a goal in the 55th minute when Crystal Palace opened the scoring through Wilfried Zaha. It came when Johan Cabaye played a diagonal ball that Zaha took down brilliantly with his chest, and he struck the ball low into the net past Ben Foster. And Crystal Palace would kill the game off in the 86th minute when they doubled their lead when Andros Townsend got the ball on the edge of his own area and just ran up the other end of the pitch. He just runs and he keeps running and he keeps running before getting around Gareth McCauley and into the West Brom box, and he then strikes the ball into the back of the net. And that's how the game would end, a big win for Crystal Palace in their hopes for survival. Crystal Palace fully deserved the win, and I think West Brom probably underestimated Palace in this game, and that's costed them in the end. But with this result, Crystal Palace jumped out of the relegation zone into 17th, and West Brom are up in 8th. And finally, we've got Manchester United versus Bournemouth. United took the lead in this one in the 23rd minute when Antonio Valencia took a shot that wasn't the best, and it ended up with Marcus Rojo deflecting that shot inside at the near post past Artur Boruc. But Bournemouth would have the perfect chance to equalise when they were given a penalty in the 40th minute when Phil Jones brought down Mark Pugh in the box and the referee pointed to the spot. Up stepped Joshua King and he made no mistake about it as he buried it in the back of the net. Right, let's do this. In the 45th minute, Bournemouth got reduced to 10 men when Andrew Sermon got a second yellow following another foul. But that's only half the story, as both teams should have really been sent down to 10 men even before this. There was a time when Tyrone Mings should have been sent off when he stomped on Zlatan Ibrahimovic's head. Straight red, no questions, but the ref didn't see it, and Wayne Rooney's chatting out of his arse when he said he witnessed it all, even though pictures showed that he was looking the other fucking way. And speaking of Zlatan, he should have been sent off as well when he elbowed Tyrone Mings in the face. I think what really pissed me off about that Zlatan incident is he went into the post-match interview and said that Tyrone Mings, quote unquote, jumped into my arm. Just fuck off. Just say I was angry about the earlier incident and I apologise. Boom, there you go, over. But no, he wants the headlines. But Manchester United would have the perfect opportunity to take the lead in this match in the 70th minute when they were given a penalty. It came when a shot is taken from a Manchester United player, not sure who, and it hits the hand of a Bournemouth player, but there's no way that it's a penalty. He was literally 2 yards away. There's a distance from me and my microphone. I'd say that's the distance here. There's no way that he could have got his arm out of the way in time. But nonetheless, Zlatan stepped up to take it, but his penalty is saved brilliantly by Artur Boruc. And that's how the game would end, with a big point for Bournemouth. Manchester United had the perfect chance to climb up the table into 4th, but they didn't, and they are still... Well, you know where they are. Bournemouth did well to hold on with the fact that they only had 10 men for all of the second half. But with this point, it kept both teams exactly where they started the match, with Bournemouth in 14th and Manchester United in 6th. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. Before we go, let's take a look at the Premier League table and top goal scorers, starting off with the Premier League table. Starting with the top 5, and as you can see, Chelsea are 10 points clear at the top following their win at West Ham. Tottenham are 2nd after dispatching Everton. Manchester City are 3rd following their win at Sunderland. Liverpool occupy the final Champions League space after beating Arsenal. And speaking of Arsenal, they dropped down to 5th after their loss at Anfield. Moving on to the bottom 5, and Sunderland are still at the bottom following another loss this week to Manchester City. Hull are 19th after their loss to Leicester. Middlesbrough slipping to the bottom 3 for the first time this season following yet another loss to Stoke. Crystal Palace jump out of the bottom 3 for the first time in a while following their win at West Brom, and Swansea make up the bottom 5 after beating Burnley. Moving on to top goal scorers, and as you can see, Harry Kane has jumped to the top following his 2 goals against Everton this week. That took him up to 19 goals. Romelu Lukaku is 2nd, grabbing himself a goal against Tottenham. That took him up to 18. Alexis Sanchez in 3rd, not scoring this week. He's on 17 goals and 9 assists. Once league leading goal scorer Diego Costa is now down in 4th. He bagged himself a goal this week that took him up to 17 goals and 5 assists, and making up the top 5 is Zlatan Ibrahimovic on 15 goals and 4 assists. Right, so that's all I've got for you this week. If you did enjoy it, be sure to leave a like and subscribe, and I'll be back next Tuesday for the next episode of the Premier League Review. Also, the next episode is going to be proper short, considering that there are only 4 matches. 4. Most of the teams are busy with the FA Cup. It's going to be easier for me, so... cheers. But if you want to follow us on Twitter, you can do so. The link is in the description, or it's at @portionofthespot_. If you want to follow me on Twitter or subscribe to my personal YouTube channel, you can do that as well. The links are also in the description. All my channels should be popping onto your screen round about now. But anyway, thanks for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. I've been Mark from A Portion of Sport, and I'll see you soon.